Hello, everyone. I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to another adventure in GregTech New Horizons. So, today we are going to continue working in forestry, and we're going to go ahead and start crafting up the various parts that we need to make the multifarm. So, let's get right into it. So, to start off, I want to catch you up on kind of where we are in the quest book here. So, we started this whole thing around here, so we had to start by getting into the sturdy casing, which allowed us to get into the carpenter. Then we had to go ahead and get to the thermionic fabricator so that we can make all these tubes. And now we finally have advanced far enough so that we can start making the multiform itself. And also we're going to need to make the various other components as well. So that is the goal for today. We're going to get the multiform made up, and we're going to try and complete these quests around it as well, which I do believe we will need. And I also have a couple of other quests in the LV tab I want to try and do as well, which will help us in our overall project. So let's get right into it. And nighttime has just arrived as well, so let's go to sleep first as well. Alright, so in order to make the multi-farm, what we're going to need are some stone bricks, some copper casing, some steel screw, and some apatite electron tubes, which we learned how to make those last time. And we're going to need to get 36 farm blocks. So what we're going to need to do, let's take a look at the recipe. Now, there are different types of blocks you can make this out of. It's basically what kind of one you imprint onto it. So you can use cut sandstone, chisel quartz, block of quartz, nether bricks, cracked stone bricks, chiseled stone bricks. Stone bricks, that's the one we're going to use. Quartz pillar, mossy stone bricks, chiseled sandstone, or the normal bricks. That's kind of funny, actually, isn't it? You need, so most of these, it's actually 1 and you get 4, but for some reason, mossy stone bricks, you need 4 for 4. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Only that one. I just noticed that. Anyways, though, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to put everything in the carpenter. We are also going to need a little bit of creosote oil, but I have actually already got everything we need in order to make this, so take a look. What do we need again? We need copper casing. All right, steel screws there. Copper casings like so, and then these, and then put the stone bricks in there, and then I do need to get a little bit of creosote oil. Let's go ahead and how much we need. So let's just fill you up and see where that takes us. Alright, there we go. We are starting to make our farm blocks. So this is just kind of the first kind of part of this that we're going to need, but we're going to need 36 of these. So we're already getting a couple of them. I've got just enough of all of this stuff so that we should be able to make exactly 36. We might need to refill this thing with creosote oil, although I don't think we will. Looks like it should be enough. Take that out for now. But that is only the first part. It's not the whole entire story. Once we get this, we need to start making some of these things here. Although, actually, while this is finishing up, we do have some of those things, I believe. Because we got some stuff for the multi-farm from loot bags in the past. It should be in here. Yep, we've got some farm control, and we also have some farm gearbox. I don't think we have anything else. Doesn't look like it. Alright, let's go ahead on back over here. So that should help a little bit to make some of the items that we need. And there we go. There's 36 farm blocks, and I still have some extra stone bricks. We can take those out. Put them over here. There we go. That should complete the quest for the multi-farm. And put you in there. And, yep, it did ding off a couple of other quests. So there's the multi-farm, so the control and the gearbox. So we got both of those knocked out as well. So that actually saves us from having to make some of these things right here. So the farm control, we actually need 2 of those, and we have exactly 2, so that's perfect. Now, I've been doing some reading about this, and basically what it seems like is, so the farm itself, the multi-farm, is going to be requires a minimum of 36 farm blocks or a maximum of 100. We're going to go with the minimum 36, so this is going to be a 3x4x3 multi-block structure. Now, we're going to assemble this thing and work out all those parts next time, but just to kind of give you an example of what we're looking at here, this is going to be a 3x4x3 structure, and yeah, we're going to need some different stuff for this, but then there's these different parts here. So the farm control, this is, I believe, yeah, redstone. We're going to apply redstone signal to the control block. We can shut the whole thing down. The gearbox is going to be the way I believe we have to power this thing. So we'd have to connect power to the farm gearbox. And again, we can use EU as well. So we're going to have to use our GregTech turbines in order to power this thing. I'm not sure how much power it uses, but I don't think it's too bad. All right, now the valve is the next one we need. So we're going to need to supply some water to this thing. So that's where the valve comes into play. We're going to need 2 farm valves, and we don't have that one yet. So we got to go ahead and make that. So let's go ahead and get some parts for that. So what we're going to need is a pump, 2 pumps actually, a motor, a rubber ring, some lapis electron tubes. We might need a little bit more of those. I definitely know we have some pumps. So 2 pumps, a motor, rubber ring we may not have, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult to make that. There you go, there's a rubber ring. Back. Then we need the steel gear. We can go ahead, I think, and craft that up here. Let me just do that so I can... Yep, pull that off. Make a couple of these, because I think we actually need some of those for other stuff as well. These things back in. And put those rods back in as well. We got some steel gears, and then we need the lapis electron tubes. Let me go check and see how many of those we have. Because I put all of those in here, and it looks like, yeah, we only have 2, so I need to make a couple extra. I think I actually have some extra lapis rods over here. Let's go take a look. Yep, perfect. We have a couple. I just need to turn those into the long rods. We did this last time, made these. That should work perfectly, so that should give us actually 2 extra. Right, we're using the this guy right here. And there we go, 2 more lapis electron tubes, and there we go. Alright, so that should be all of that we need now in order to make the farm valve. So, like we do that, we do need some creosote oil, and of course we will need a farm block. So, put one of those in there, and those, pump, motor. What else was it again? The gear on top and the rubber ring on the bottom. And creosote oil, looks like we have everything. Alright, so farm valve, and it does give us, again, 2 of them for just 1 farm block, so that's quite good. We do need 2 for the quest. Alright, so that should complete that one, and then we have to go ahead and make the multifarm hatch. And this is how we're going to supply and extract items. So since we need to supply and extract, we're going to need 2 of these as well. So what we're going to need for that are conveyor modules, hoppers, tin electron tubes. Do we have those? Yep, we do have actually those. So we need 4 tin electron tubes. There's our farm valves. Lovely. So that should complete that quest. Alright, we got that one. And now we need to go ahead and gather a couple other things. So conveyor modules, electric motor again. Go over here and grab some stuff. Got some conveyor modules. There was 2, I believe. There's the motor. And we need a hopper. We already had the steel gear. I should have some hoppers in here. Yep, we've got plenty of hoppers. Only 1 hopper, and that should be enough. All right. So not too bad. We seem pretty much stocked up for all this stuff, so we're doing quite good, I think. And I'm going to assume it's the same. I'm going to take a guess here. It's the same way. It's just replacing the pumps with the... I didn't need to do that, did I? And then I bet you the hopper goes here. This is just me guessing. Let's see if I'm right on my guess. And then put a farm block. Yep, farm hatch. I was correct. Lovely. And then a little bit more creosote oil. So this should actually be the last piece of the multifarm that we need, I believe. We've got the gearbox, we've got the control, farm blocks, there's the hatch, the valve. And we still have a couple extra steel gears. I'll keep those in there for the moment. There you go, Multifarm hatch now. So we've gotten that one knocked out. So that's lovely. So we've got all of these. And then we need to do this one. I'm not sure if we actually need to do this, but the soldering iron can also be used to remove the circuit board from electrical engines, multiform squeezers, and centrifuges by opening machine's GUI. Oh, that was the bottom of it, my bad. The forestry soldering iron is a tool used for attaching electron tubes to a circuit boards in order to manipulate how an electrical engine works or to program multiforms as well as upgrading the squeezer. Alright, so I'm not sure if we need this. Yes, honestly, you'll probably only use it for the multifarm, though. Once electron tubes have been attached to a circuit board, they cannot be removed. So this is how we actually would add these to certain things, because we were looking at what these things could do. Now, I don't actually know if we need these or not, because what we're going to be using them with is with our rubber saplings to make some rubber trees. That's the plan. Yep, these things right here, that's what we're going to be using the multifarm for, the rubber tree saplings, so that we can get some rubber wood. So that's what we're going to be doing. But let's go ahead and just get this quest done anyway, since it's connected to the multifarm, just in case. It doesn't look too hard. Steel rods, steel bolts, small power unit, copper cables. Okay, that actually might be a little bit of an issue after all, isn't it? This is actually what we're trying to do, get the rubber and the assembler copper cable. Oh, that's a needle copper, actually. Which one? Copper cable. Oh no, copper cable's the same thing. We actually need an assembler in order to make copper cable, so we actually need the molten rubber. Can I? Yes, I can. Alright, so we actually can do this. We can just fluid extract a couple rubber bars to do this for now. Alright, so let's try then and make this thing here. Small power unit. We do need LV circuits. That doesn't look too bad. Let's go to sleep here as well. Alright, so what do we need again? I always forget. Steel casings, do I have that? Probably not, so let's go ahead and make some. Doesn't need a whole lot. Cut a couple of steel plates in there. And we did need a steel bolt. I don't think we actually have one of those at the moment. I've got some screws. Alright, let's cut a steel rod as well. Alright, there's our steel casings. Let's focus on that small power unit as well before I forget. So what we're going to need then is... Okay, we have everything but the copper cables, right? So for the copper cables, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need copper wire. And if I can grab 2 of these, I think we can just do something like this. Fluid extract. Get that, and then put these in the assembler. And copper cables, I think there was a circuit for this. Yes, circuit 24. We'll make circuit 24, and we'll put you in. Lovely. So that should give us some copper cables so that we can at least make this. We're going to have an automated setup to at least get this. This is kind of what we're working towards. But for now, we have to do it that way. Right, so we got the copper cables. Should be able to go ahead and make this thing. Lovely. Small power unit. Alright, so we got that thing, and now we need just 1 steel bolt, and then we can make the soldering iron. Oh, that actually needs the carpenter. Alright, that's fine. Alright, so we need a bolt for that, I believe. We need 1 bolt for that, and then 2 steel rods. Gotta remember, this is the hot bar right here. I still don't know why it's so weird like that, but it's the way it is. And we also need a little bit of redstone. I think that's 4 pieces. Maybe 5. Oh, I keep forgetting. The redstone's over here now as well. Right, 4 redstone. I think it's 4. Let's fluid extract you. Yep, that looks like the right amount. Alright, and let's take that over here. Alright, so we got that, and... Ooh, this stuff actually still has creosote oil in it. Alright, what we're gonna do then is we're just gonna break this and replace it, I think. Probably the easiest way to deal with that. It's okay to waste a little bit of creosote oil. And we might have to, yeah, see, this thing doesn't get power, but if I come here and I do this, now it gets power. Alright. So I figured out how that works at least. Alright, so now we can put the redstone in, and then we need to make this soldering iron. So small power unit. A couple of steel rods, and I believe the bolt went here. Or do we need anything else? No, we didn't. Oh, I put the steel bolt in the wrong spot. My bad. There we go. Soldering iron. Take that out, and that should be good to go. And that will probably complete this quest. Now, there are these ones down here. And actually, I believe we actually got one of these already. Yeah, the enhanced circuit board. That's this one right here, I think. It looks the same. I believe it is. Let's see. This is the soldering iron. There we go, got that one knocked out, and now we can go ahead and try and make these, although I really don't think we need these. So basically what this does is this chip allows you to select the form type and combine with the right electron tubes and not use the default of growing trees, which is what we're going to be doing, so we don't need to do this actually. Although we actually might be able to complete this quest by picking this up. Take a look. Yep, there we go. Alright, so that's another quest knocked out. So I'll put this away for now. I'm not sure that we don't need this right now. In fact, we don't need any of this right now since we're not actually going to assemble it. But I'll keep it in there for the moment to remind myself that we have it at least. And I also want to make a couple of other things. So you probably noticed I have a couple of things bookmarked here. Basic gas turbine and a basic chemical reactor, which we're going to need for a master plan. Make some rubber. So I want to go ahead and make those. So let's quickly shift over to LV. And these shouldn't be too hard to make, but we're going to make them. So, the gas turbine quest. So, we're going to go ahead and make that first. I think we should have everything. Nope, we don't have any machine holes. And I have no steel plates in there, but don't be concerned because we have plenty of them in here. Make like 4 of them for now. And something. And cables. Have some of those. I don't have many, though. I need to start stocking up on these. There we go. 4 machine holes, and we'll put those in here. Now we should be good to go to make our basic gas turbine, which we're going to be using to power some stuff with the methane we get from the trees. That's the plan. We'll make the one for now, and then we also need our basic chemical reactor, and we have everything for that as well. Where did the gas turbine go? Did I not just make that? Oh, it went in here some. Oh, it ended up in here. How did that get in there? Okay, some weird things are going on in here, I just noticed. Did everything else find its home? Oh, that was weird. Form valve. Alright, well, we got the chemical reactor. Alright, so we got both those knocked out. Let's put some stuff away. Steel gear. Steel casings can go with the plates, since those are cut plates. Steel plates. And rotor. Should be everything we need. Alright, so there we go. We got those quests knocked out. Lovely. Alright, let me put the final form piece here. I'm not sure how that happened, but must just be the intricacies of the compartment thing we've been using. It's quite useful, but it is a little bit strange at times. Alright, so there we go. There's our chemical reactor and our basic gas turbine. So we're going to be using these coming up soon. And yeah, so we got what I wanted to get done for today. So let's go ahead and claim our rewards, because it looks like we got quite a couple of them today. So basic gas turbine, we get some cells, hydrogen, methane, LPG, not sure what that is, but it might be probably all usable here. So yeah, it looks like hydrogen. In fact, we can actually look up the uses, I believe, for the gas turbine. We're going to be using methane, but yeah, you can use natural gas, hydrogen. Yeah, a whole bunch of different stuff. Looks like the further we go, the better they get. The best one looks to be nitrobenzene. Gives you quite a bit. Anyways, that's that. We'll take that one. Got some coins as well. And then apparently that just ticked off another quest, apparently. For hydrogen. Interesting. Okay, and that gives us some mushroom stew and some coins. Lovely. Alright, this is the chemical reactor. Gives us a loot bag and some coins as well. Lovely. Alright, and then we shift on over to the forestry quest line. If I can find it. There it is. And yeah, we got quite a few things done here. So the multifarm gives us a little bit of steel and copper. Some coins. The multifarm hatch. Oh, I could take some tubes. We don't have the emerald ones yet, do we? You know what? Let's take the emerald electron tubes. We don't actually have those yet. Couldn't make them. We had trouble with this quest. Because we needed blaze rods, ender eyes, emeralds. Those are a bit tricky, but we got the emerald ones now. This one, don't need any of those, I don't think. I'll take the loot bag for you. This one, bronze, copper. It looks like they just give you a bunch of different tubes, or you can get a loot bag. We'll do the loot bag again. This is the control one. We get the choice of the apatite, tin lapis, or loot bag. We'll do the loot bag. This one's the soldering iron, which, oh, I think it gives us all of those, actually. Yeah, we get all of this stuff. And then we got this one knocked out, which gives us a choice of 8 steel, 2 circuits, 1 circuit board, or a loot bag. You know, I think we've got a decent amount of circuits. Let's do the loot bag. Normally I would do the 2 circuits, but we have plenty of circuits. We're not short on circuits. Let's do another loot bag. Alright, and that is quite a few things. Let's put them away in our backpack. I'll deal with those later. And we'll end off by opening up our loot bags that we got today. Like we normally do. Right, we've got one LV1, and then we got... I'll put these machines in here as well for now. Save us on inventory space. In fact, let's just put everything in here just in case. Grab this backpack. Let's put everything in there. That way we know what we get. Alright, so let's see what we get. We'll do the LV1 first. Alright, more potions of fire resistance. I'll just dump those off right now since I have them. We have quite a bit of those now, don't we? Yeah, we got a decent amount. Alright, so these are the Forest Ranger basic ones, which will probably give us some forestry stuff, I think. Let's see what we get. We got some larch wood. I think we got that one last time. Some kapok wood. Interesting. Kinda greenish. Ooh, what's that one? Oh, just some long tin rods. Could be useful for making a couple of the tin electron tubes. Oh, we got the long emerald rods. How convenient. Well, we don't even need those anymore since we actually got the emerald electron tubes. And then the final loot bag. More long emerald rods. Alright. Well, we got a couple of those, I guess. Alright, well, I think this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, but I wanted to try and get a setup so that we can start using the multifarm next time. So, next time what we're going to do is we're going to set up the multifarm, and we're going to try and figure out how it works together. We'll see how that goes, but I got to do some preparation for that so that we're ready for that. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, I think we'll leave that one there, a little bit shorter, so we'll see how it goes, I guess. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.